is like a prison with invisible bars. No matter where you at, it always follow you where you are. And it's hard out there for a pimp to get out of, but it's harder for the hooker that he beat the shit out of. I got niggas underground in the Confederate States, ironically running from slavery that prison creates. So I never hate on the South, I respect their vision. I just hate on niggas that promote Samboism and white execs that love to see us in that position. They reflect the stereotypes of America's vision. They want us dancing, cooning and hollering, only respect us for playing sports and modeling. More than racism, it's stay in your placism. All people are trapped in practical blackfacism. So fuck a civil war between the North and the South. It's between field niggas and slaves that are stuck in the house.
Civil war for the soul of a nation. This is a struggle to save civilization. Demonstrations overthrowing the occupation, the annihilation of mental colonization. Civil war for the soul of a nation. We fight for the future of our civilizations. Destroy the corrupt government organizations trying to survive cultural assassination.
Rip niggas, blood niggas, essays, Asians. Why the fuck we born with each other's population? The devil wanna dead all our population, people in folk nation. Why the separation? Why we got Jamaicans hating on Haitians when the British and French rape both nations? Mexicans and blacks kill each other, straight hating, while the government profits from prison population. If you on the bottom, be you Anglo or Asian, you gotta recognize the realness in what I'm saying. You gotta recognize another G ain't the enemy. When the police ride and kill us frequently, we gotta make the youth see where the truth be. If you a G, then grow and develop GD. 50 years of games and our people still poor. If we really run the streets, we should really end war.
Civil war for the soul of a nation. This is a struggle to save civilization. Demonstrations overthrowing the occupation, the annihilation of mental colonization. Civil war for the soul of a nation. We fight for the future of our civilizations. Destroy the corrupt government organizations trying to survive cultural assassination.
Listen, our hearts were torn apart just like y'all was. Watching towers full of souls fall to sawdust. Every time we called your office, you ignored us. Now you're holding hearings on us all inside of Congress. Microscopes on us, asking which your hardest. My answer was in line with all of the founding fathers. I think Patrick said it best, give me liberty or death. I shall never accept anything less. You claim innocence, you play victimless, but you gave the kiss of death in the name of self-defense. Slavery and theft of other nations to the end of pacifying your citizenry with excess. We believe in freedom, justice, security, but they're only pure when they're applied universally. So certainly if I rage against the machine, my aim was only to clean the germs out of the circuitry. Urgently putting fear inside your heart, make you burn Qurans and tell me not to build a mosque. Me, my wife and babies, we ain't never made you hard. We just wanna touch our head to the floor and talk to God. Ask him to remove every blemish from our heart. The greatest threat of harm doesn't come from any bomb. The moment you refuse the human rights for just a few, what happens when that few includes you? Civil war.
Students at John Sloat Elementary describe a day of horror on Thursday when one of their classmates, a 5th grade girl, started shouting she was part of the Illuminati and threatened to kill other students.
I'm about to show you people the real problem with this fucking country. Because you folks have zero clue what is going on. I mean zero. Oh, the government's corrupt. And that's about all you know. Well, I've been doing this for a year. look for a fucking job. Now, you want to know why it's hard? I remember when you used to go into some place, fill out an application right there in person, hand it over to the guy. If he liked you, he called you. End of story. I give you Craigslist. Click on the link to apply. Brings you to the company. Apply now. First of all, I thought I was applying. What the fuck is this shit? So now I need an email. Well, what if I'm fucking homeless? So now this is a staffing company. Okay, so I'm applying for a job through a company. Fine. Once you get in here, I got a resume, but let's say I don't. You gotta fill all this shit out. If you miss something though, they're gonna red flag you. And you have to go back, and if you don't have that information, then you're not getting a job, are you? And not only that, but when these places hire you, at the most, they'll hire you for like 6 months. You know, the temporary ones. The ones that are temp to hire, I think, are great. But the ones that hire you for 6 months at a time, they do that for a reason. Because after 6 months, they have to claim you on their taxes. You have any idea how much not claiming a person or a company saves them for one person? It's a lot of fucking money. That's all I'll say. You could go and look it up. What if you don't have a computer? What if you don't have a resume? What if you don't even have a fucking address? Another problem on here is over at Craigslist. You'll see plenty of different jobs, and right next to them they say Sacramento. 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 Now there's too many of these for me to go through, but trust me. Now see how this one says Rancho Cordova. Good work, buddy. Good work. You click on one of these, still says Sacramento. So I'm like, alright. Someplace close to home. Sometimes it'll even say Natomas. Right in my fucking neighborhood. And I'll be stunned. I'm like, yeah, man, I got that. Tells you to call, set up an interview, and they're always, the times that I've called anyways, always in Rancho Cordova. So I did some looking around since I'm new out here. Turns out, Rancho Cordova is its own city. It's in Sacramento County. You might want to address that when you put up a post saying Sacramento. As a matter of fact, everyone in Sacramento should be mandated to put the city, and right next to the city, the fucking neighborhood. Is it in Natomas? Is it in North Highlands? Is it in a whole nother city? Like West Sacramento. Yes, West Sacramento is its own city. Now, I don't know if you folks fucking realize, but I sure did. There's signs that say, welcome to. And wherever you're going into, that's the place you're going. And it's funny, because leaving Rancho Cordova the other day, I saw a sign that said, welcome to Sacramento. Must be my fucking eyes playing tricks on me. Can't tell you how much time is wasted. And how much shit is fucked up. Because somebody doesn't know to put this, you know, Roseville, West Sacramento. No, they put Sacramento. No. Sacramento. Where in Sacramento? Where? I don't think you folks who don't live in Sacramento have any idea how big Sacramento is. It's fucking huge. It's so huge, in fact, it's its own fucking county. It's its own fucking county. New York City ain't got that shit. Did I mention the fucking Illuminati temple out here? The huge fucking pyramid. Oh, you folks didn't know that was a satanic pyramid for the Illuminati. For you folks who don't live in Sacramento, let me show you. Okay, folks, welcome to West Sacramento. That's where it's located. Yes, you may have seen this in my videos. So, here it is. Just a nice Illuminati temple, in the middle of downtown Sacramento. Nothing to see here, though, folks. Right? Oh, wow, it's pretty. Images for Illuminati symbol. If you think there's not a fucking world order, and that people, fucking madmen, have taken the fucking world over, say hello to the fucking Illuminati symbol, you jackass. And if you look in most other cities, big cities, you'll see the same fucking thing. Look in Indianapolis, for instance. Okay? So no. It's not a fucking coincidence. Yes. It lights up. The whole fucking thing. That's what I'm looking for. The whole fucking thing. I don't know if they turn it on anymore, though. And look, here's how they put it together. In fucking pieces. I'll get one of it. And there it is. Sacramento ziggurat. Okay? So, all you fucking morons out there, I mean, I don't know if you looked on my page or not, and, saw this, maybe saw it in my videos. Yeah. That wasn't in the Middle East or some shit. That was in Sacramento. Okay? For you morons who don't know about the Illuminati, they're fucking real. This is where they started, actually. From your fucking time of even thinking what the fucking world is. Comprende? Moron? Did you see the video I posted earlier about the Illuminati in schools? And here you go. All the celebrities, famous people, the people that matter, given the fucking symbol. That's a humongous coincidence. Movies. See, if you fucking folks even just type this word in and looked it up, you would fucking know all this. But you're too fucking lazy and in a fucking fluoride coma to have a clue what's going on. Everyday life. Have you ever seen the movie They Live? If you haven't, I highly, highly suggest you do. Every fucking where you look. And I mean everywhere. Someone's gonna say, they own everything? Yeah, everything. I'm fucking crazy? I looked up the information. What the fuck did you do? Yeah, fucking churches too. Keep going to worship God on Sunday. You have no fucking clue who you're even worshiping. You better pray to God real good tonight. Real good. To the real one. And ask him to tell you the difference. And the symbols go on. And on. And fucking on. They're everywhere, people. They're everywhere. They're every fucking place. Do you understand? What kind of fucking madman would put cancer-causing GMOs in our food? Fluoride that drops the IQ and gives you bone cancer in our water? Poison up in the fucking air with the chemtrails? These type of people, that's who. Satanic fucking slime. Toilet film of the earth. And they got your kid. Okay? Have a nice day. Watch some of these videos. A few of them you may recognize. I posted them before. Thought they might be interesting. I don't know, if you want to look. I know today sure restored my faith in humanity. That's it for now. God bless and carry on.
She said she wanted to sell her soul to the devil, and then she said she'll kill everybody.
It didn't work out, and so I sold my soul to the devil.
I sold my soul to the devil.
I sold my soul to the devil, I'll never get it back.
At one point, students say she grabbed a pair of scissors.
Yeah, I see her trying to cut herself and put and like draw blood, but then she got up and tried to stab another girl that was a seat away from her.
Everybody just started crying because they were scared that they were gonna die that day.
Students say she also drew Illuminati symbols like this one and wrote 666 in the bathroom. Students say her outburst went on for at least an hour, with the teacher only telling them to ignore the girl.
He thought she was just trying to get attention.
When they told the teacher about what was going on,
Antonio Farinas contacted News 10 because he thinks the school should have notified him immediately.
to not be notified about it all day until 6:30 at night last night, that was real upsetting, because when I picked up my kids from school, they were in tears.
Some parents we spoke with think the school could have done more to protect the kids in class and should have taken the girl out of class much sooner.
With all the stuff that's been going on with schools, what does it take for a child to show you that there's something wrong, for her to actually follow through with what she says she's going to do?
Police say on Monday, Wallace entered this Walmart neighborhood market less than a mile away from his apartment and held a 2-year-old girl hostage, threatening her life with a knife. Police say during their negotiations, Wallace made mention of a group named the Illuminati. Police claim their research shows the Illuminati is a satanic cult and that they learned June 21st is their day of human sacrifice. But why Wallace chose June 17th to take the girl hostage is still unknown.
According to a new report based on interviews with former NSA contractor Edward Snowden, the National Security Agency secretly planned a cyber warfare program that could automatically fire back at cyber attacks from foreign countries without any human involvement, creating the risk of accidentally starting a war. The report said the program, codenamed Monstermind, would have let the military agency automate the process of hunting for the beginnings of a foreign cyber attack. According to the report, published this week by Wired magazine, the software would be constantly on the lookout for digital traffic patterns that indicated known or suspected attacks.
A leaked 160-page Department of Homeland Security document, dubbed Capstone Exercise 2014, Scenario Ground Truth, describes a nationwide drill taking place from March 27th to April 24th, 2014, in which martial law is declared in the aftermath of a massive cyber attack by several fictitious anti-government groups, one specifically named Free Americans Against Socialist Tyranny. The drill guidelines read like a top-secret presidential directive, even mandating that the document be kept in a locked safe. Each and every page is stamped with the order "Trusted Agents Only," and describes how only DHS agents are to view the document, specifying that the thousands of local and state employees taking part in the drill, even National Guard and military members, be not allowed to look at it. In the wake of the national disaster, it is not Russia or the Chinese who have historically waged frequent cyber attacks on the U.S., but liberty-loving Americans who are the enemy. According to the document, quote, cyber attacks are expected throughout the exercise by members of anti-government organizations, such as Free Americans Against Socialist Tyranny and individuals sympathetic to their cause. According to the drill, the Free Americans group are not acting alone, but in tandem with government employees, the National Guard, and current and former military members. Quote, while some Free Americans Against Socialist Tyranny members are capable of conducting adverse cyber operations, the greatest threat is current government employees sympathetic to their cause. Also included are employees within U.S. Northern Command, U.S. Air Force, U.S. Army, National Guard, and Defense Information Systems Agency that may support Free Americans Against Socialist Tyranny doctrine. Free Americans Against Socialist Tyranny sympathizers may include both former and current members of the military.
Pete Martino from Epsom. I'm a retired colonel in the Marine Corps. I was the Ministry of Defense coordinator. My job was to man, train, and equip the Iraqi army in Al-Anbar, Najaf, Karbala, and northern Babila provinces. And I'll tell you right now, Homeland Security would kick their butts in a week. What's happening here is we're building a domestic military because it's unlawful or unconstitutional to use American troops on American soil. The way we do things in the military is called task organization. You take a command and then you attach units to it in order to accomplish the mission. Homeland Security, what they're trying to do is use standardized vehicles, standardized equipment. I saw a picture in the Boston Globe during the marathon bombing where two officers, they both had identical helmets, flak jackets, weapons, everything I wore in Iraq, only it was all blue. The officer on one side had a big patch on his back that said Massachusetts State Police. Another officer next to him, his patch said Boston Police. Let's not kid about it. We're building a domestic army and we're shrinking the military because the government is afraid of its own citizens. The last time more than 10 terrorists were in the same place at one time was September 11th, and all these vehicles in the world wouldn't have prevented it, nor would it have helped anybody. We're building an army over here, and I can't believe that people aren't seeing it. Is everybody blind?
I want to talk about who's the commander-in-chief of the military. It's not the President of the United States. He is not the commander-in-chief until war has been declared. War has never been declared since World War II. And I have had 9 combat tours. And each one of them has cost me 18 months of my life. I've done my fair share of killing. I'm tired of it. And you're either going to go to the ballot box or you're going to go to the bullet box in the next 18 months. If you got that time. I'm dead serious. I'm a former Green Beret. I know exactly what I'm talking about. This ain't no game, folks. And I'm going to read to you in just a second. The President shall be Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy. Notice it doesn't talk about the Marines and the Air Force. There's a reason for that. Of the United States and the militia of the several states. When called into actual service. So if they're not in service, who's he commanding? If they're not in war, who's he commanding? On my birth certificate, it says Caucasian male. I went down and got me a new birth certificate because somebody wanted the police department. I was a white male. I said, whoa, wait a minute. I got 2 birth certificates here. One says Caucasian, one says what? She says, well, they mean the same. I said, well, then why did you change it? Tell me. Couldn't do it. There's a reason for that if you understand psychological warfare. It's taken away your humanity, which makes the soldier who's going to kill you feel much easier. The first thing they do when they want to kill you is they start changing who you are. They take away your identity. A horse is the same as a pony. A girl is the same as a woman. It's not true. This is the proposed new Constitution that has already been drafted. They only need the right incident to bring it down. And they're working on that right now. We're not very far away from an event that's going to bring what you call martial law. That term will never be used, by the way. Emergency police powers will be. It says, change the Second Amendment, change the Eighth Amendment, removing the First Amendment clause. Who do you think they're targeting on that? Christians. The states must become submissive to the federal government in all aspects. Allow Congress to states to perform federal duties in emergencies. In other words, they want to be able to send everybody anywhere they want. This is what the world's going to start to look like by 2015. I snapped that with a little camera. I was in that office that you see. That's the Secretary of the Army. Secretary Hillary Clinton was there. He said in 2015 events are going to start happening. That's going to transform us into this. Now you've seen the Constitution. I'm not blowing smoke up your backside, folks, because you ain't got nothing I want. And I'm not afraid of a man in here. You don't intimidate me. This is going to happen. It cannot be stopped. You got to make your mind up to man up or get out. Lead, follow, or move. This is serious business. There's going to be a lot of blood, folks, because you're looking at a 160-year-old man ain't going to go along with it. Been there, done that. What they going to do, kill me? Hell, I died a long time ago. By 2020, this will be in effect. The United States has been subdivided into 10 regions. Everything is 10. Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, and Missouri are Zone 7. The boundaries and the county boundaries have been erased. That's why you see all these joint task force on police. The policemen don't know this. Police departments are becoming one. Everything has to become one. Have you noticed the school district problems in St. Louis County? Solzhenitsyn. He wrote a book called The Gulag Archipelago. In there he lays out a plan. And what he said was you have to build educational barracks to get the kids to go to so they can have diversity. You are about to see a proposal probably in the next 4 or 5 years where they are going to build barracks, educational campgrounds for kids, and everybody's going to turn it over to them. And then what started happening, he just talks about how they would let the kids come home 1 week in the month, then they expanded it to every 6 months, and then once a year. And then what the kids started doing was spying on the parents. And guess what happened to the parents? They went to the Gulag. You know where the Gulag was at? It was in Siberia. That's where you all going to go. The day is going to come when grown men are going to cry and wish they were never born because they didn't spend time with their daughters. They didn't spend time with their sons, but they stayed some stupid game down in Busch Stadium. The average football ticket last year cost $247 per person. This year they said that this Super Bowl game was the most expensive in world history, and people went bankrupt to go see it. I really don't get it. Right now there are 3 phases that a society goes through. One is persecution. That means your faith is being challenged. Everybody mocks you. Everybody ridicules you. They stand for nothing. If you take a stand against sodomy, abortion, you are a terrorist, ladies and gentlemen. The next phase is prosecution. The final phase is execution. In the scriptures, does it not teach you about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse? You have a white horse and a pale horse. The pale horse is actually beryl green. Do you know what the color of Islam is? Green. Does it not say whoever refuses to take the mark will be beheaded? Do you know how the Muslims take care of you? They cut your head off. The only passive Muslim is a Sufi. Until they get around a more dominant Muslim, then they will kill you. Muslims are passive until they gain parity with you or they exceed you in numbers, and they will kill you. Positivism, which is a communist doctrine of law, says the state is the highest form of authority, and whatever the state gives, the state can take away. And under positivism, you have something called civil rights. There's a difference between constitutional rights and civil rights. Under positivism, the law changes with each new generation. Well, trying to define a generation may be a bit problematic. Some say 20 years, some say 50, some say 100. So can you see the confusion in our country today? Today, a federal agent is immune from any prosecution. Does that sound reminiscent of something? Ruby Ridge, Waco, Texas. You cannot try a federal agent in a state court. This is not constitutional. The British did the same thing, and our ancestors took up muskets to stop it. What's going on in Nevada right now? And there's more of it getting ready to go in Texas that you haven't heard about yet. They're getting ready to take thousands of acres down there. Right now in the United States, most chiefs of police and sheriffs and lieutenants and above will go to the FBI Academy. When they go to the FBI Academy, they come back brainwashed for some reason. Now, I know the St. Louis County Police has that policy. I do not know about the rest of them, but I know just about every sheriff will go to the FBI Academy. Operation Garden Plot talks a lot about the continuity of government. The continuity of government is a concept where those in power are going to protect themselves against you. And every time you do something they don't like, they become more oppressive. I personally, and many people that I work with, expect an imminent collapse of the United States. It may be one major event, it may be a series of events, but it's going to happen. I've killed a lot, and if I need to, I'll kill more. If you don't want to get killed, don't show up in front of me. It's that simple. I have no problems with it. There comes a time when you got to man up. They're going to take your kids from you and put them in indoctrination camps. They're going to do it. And there's nothing you're going to do to stop it because we've waited too long. I see a lot of gray-haired people in here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a 50-year fight. All of us are not going to survive it. So what you do now is for your children. Has nothing to do with you. You got to get the me out of the way. You got to get in the fight to be in the fight. And I only know maybe one or two people in here that's seen combat. For those of you who have diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, kidney disease, you're dead. Your maximum effective lifespan is 24 hours by the time this thing hits. That's all you got. And this is going to happen. Colonel Kappel, a full-bird colonel, commander of SOC Europe, that's Special Forces Command Europe, flew into Bosnia. And he assembled all of the SF guys up in the greenhouse. And this was in 1999. He says, gentlemen, there's about to be an attack upon the United States. And he put on a presentation like I'm putting on you. And he put up on the screen all the people that were going to be involved in it. They were already there. 19 of them were from Saudi Arabia. Only one of them was from somewhere else. And he says, after that happens, the United States will be forever changed. He flew home and retired. He said, I'm not going to be part of what America's going to turn into. And you know the rest of it. 14 years later, there's no weapons of mass destruction. Syria don't have them. Nobody has them. We got satellites in the sky. Nobody tracked them. They don't exist. So why did we go? That's the big question. In Saddam Hussein's trial in The Hague, it was proven he had nothing to do with the World Trade Towers. That man was hung. But you know what he said that really interested me? He says, you know, I've done a lot of things. I've killed a lot of people. But he says, I've never murdered 50 million of my own people. Who do you think he was talking to? Us. So there was no weapons of mass destruction. Didn't happen. He was cleared by our own State Department of having anything to do with 9/11. So why did we go? World government, folks. Anybody that resisted is dead, including you.